think that depends on, again, what level of interaction involvement that particular partner or stakeholder is interested in. So quite often, if it's a corporate partner or a developer, there's a preference to having kind of more formal, like workshop activities or so on. Whereas when I'm out in the street, it's more, or it can be more anecdotal, where we found someone with a great idea, they don't really know what to do with it. But there'll be, with all these kind of discussions you're having, there'll be common threads that you start pulling together. And that might go into some kind of like a vision document or a vision statement that then you need to loop back to those communities so that and you do that on a regular basis, which is part of the kind of iterative process of once you start doing the short-term tests, that helps you navigate what that vision might be. I guess as an example, on Hindley Street West, there was a vacant piece of land next to like a power station. And we've been doing like a lot of work with the university, with businesses and so on. And the university came along and said, we want to use this space as car parking because they don't have enough car parking in the other complexes. But what we were able to do, and this is not using, we didn't use like a policy lever or a financial lever or a legal lever or anything like that. We had a conversation with them saying, actually, when we're developing the vision, which you participated in, this is your vision as well. This doesn't match up with what you told us you wanted for the street. And as it happens, we've got a couple of young guys over here who want to test out one of their ideas in this public space. And we ended up with this really wonderful Peter Rabbit cafe because we had that shared vision and there was an understanding between kind of disparate stakeholders or disparate partners that was the vision. And it's not a case of councils develop this vision, which is, again, if you consult, develop a vision document, that's not going to stick. But if people are participating in that process and they've got ownership over it and they can shape it, again, it increases their agency and they've got control over what their public space looks like and what it could look like in the future. What can happen when people are coming into like the town hall style thing is that the power in the relationship sits with us as a council because it's our environment. We're going to have suits and ties on our clipboards. On that, one of the things I've done previously for something called Project Robin Hood, we set up this group called the Ombudsmen, who were like ombudsmen, but we made them wear these kind of knitted wool and dwarf beards we bought off the internet. And these are like professionals in our organisation, our directors, and people with specific technical expertise that we wanted to bring to some placemaking projects. And that was the case if it was like a town hall meeting where come to the Civic Centre do this. But because we slapped these beards on the authorities, it changes the power in the relationship. One, it humanises them and makes them vulnerable. And it kind of shows that we're thinking about doing things a little bit differently. And that was fun to do as well. Obviously, social media is a big one, but it's kind of a bit hit and miss depending on, not everyone's got access to social media. And I find the traditional methods like the paper-based stuff and the kind of tactile stuff probably less useful than that kind of personal contact and leveraging relationships. If you kind of think about the emergence of buy swap free groups and things like the town team movement, where people are already organising in the spaces they're comfortable with for social activity, or I need a babysitter, or who knows, a good plumber. Those are those are already happening. So let's use those instead, rather than trying to impose something onto people. Because in Adelaide we reported directly to the CEO and we had a remit to go out and do things, we had a lot of opportunity to kind of work differently. We did this thing called Your Shout, My Shout, which was where we were basically hanging out at bars, buying people a drink and letting them shout at us as a way to, they weren't literally shouting, but the idea was they'd come down and have a chat with us about what was going on in the community. And that, that's not a survey, that's not an interview, that's a very kind of personal, kind of fun, human thing to do. We did this thing in Topham Mall where we hired this alien called Zarkrum Zork or Zorkrum Zarg, and the idea being that he would, he'd be in his alien outfit and he'd be talking to people in Topham Mall about Topham Mall, but they would need to explain to him what Topham Mall was because he had no idea what Topham Mall was. He's an alien. It was very good. With Project Robin Hood, we would kind of play on the pantomime element and dress up in Robin Hood outfits, and we would go out to public spaces and kind of retail and hospitality hubs dressed up like that, handing out gold coins, not really saying anything to anybody. And the difference between that and me going down with my flyers and clipboard in my suit and pants is the difference between me trying to pitch or sell something to that community. When we're down there in our beards and our outfits, they're craning their necks, they're trying not to make eye contact, they're laughing to their friends, and they want to know from us what's going on. And like the exercises that the students did at the Future Basewater studio, I thought were really great. Like there was so many creative ideas, like the Monopoly game and the handprint wall, all different ways to kind of collect information at different levels, but it all kind of builds a picture of what's going on, and it doesn't have to be a survey all the time. I don't think there's anything wrong with traditional engagement methods as such. I think the way they're practiced by local government and government in general is generally pretty poor. And don't be afraid to be a bit more creative about how you talk to people. Make it fun.